All right, hey everyone, welcome back to another video. And today is September the 17th of 2023, and it's a recap day of BYU football, and that's coming up right after this. All right, everyone, welcome back to Just Justin. I am Justin, and today we are going to recap the Arkansas BYU game. Now, this was an awesome game. Now, before we get into anything, I'm just gonna go over some final stats with you really quick. Okay, BYU had 77 rush yards. Arkansas had 177. Passing yards, BYU had 204. Arkansas had 247. Total yards, okay, is 281 for BYU, and Arkansas had 424. First downs, BYU had 17, Arkansas had 21. Third down conversions, BYU was 4 of 13, and Arkansas was 2 of 13. And the time of possession was 24 minutes and 50 seconds for BYU and 35 minutes and 10 seconds for Arkansas. Now, if you're looking at those stats right there, you didn't know the score, you'd be like going, all right, so Arkansas was dominating. I mean, they had more rushing, more passing, more total yards, more first downs. BYU had more third down conversions, and they possessed the ball like, almost 11 minutes more. All right, and so the final score of the game, that's what was really super amazing. So let's start off in the first half. Okay, so Arkansas gets the ball, and they march down the field. Well, they didn't really march down the field. 4 plays in, they threw it. The running back ran for a touchdown, the longest run of the year so far. There's only been 3 games. So BYU was down 7. Arkansas was up 7-0. Okay, so BYU gets the ball. And they couldn't do anything, so they punted it away. And guess what? The punt returner returned it for a touchdown. All right, so that put it down 14-0. And it's like the first quarter. And I was thinking, what the heck? Now, this is going to be a sucky game. But BYU came back, and they did a trick play where the receiver threw it over, and they scored a touchdown. All right, so 14-7. All right, and then, battled back and forth. And then Martin, the true freshman, he took a handoff and he just broke it, and he ran for the touchdown. So 14-14. All right, so this is going to be a good game. Last year BYU didn't do very well. It was 52-35. So at this point, 14-14. I'll take that. And then BYU gets the ball again, and they march down, and they score a touchdown. All right. Now, so we're up 21-14, 21 unanswered points. So 21 unanswered points. Yeah, Arkansas came back and they scored 21. They scored 7 to make it 21-21. And then Arkansas, they kicked the field goal to go into halftime, leading 24-21. All right, so the first half of the game, that was an exciting game. 24 for Arkansas, 21 for BYU. BYU was not supposed to be competitive in this game, according to the playmakers and stuff like that. So second half comes out, and Arkansas went down and they scored 31-21. Okay, so a 10-point lead. BYU came down and they kicked the field goal. They tried a fake. All right, so they tried a fake field goal, but they had a delay of game, so they kicked the field goal, a 49-yarder. So, all right, so it's now 31-24. Okay, BYU held Arkansas. All right, so BYU came down and they scored again. So now it's 31-31. And now that's getting to be a good game. And battle back and forth. And then BYU went down to take the lead on an amazing catch by Chase Roberts. Back of the end zone, one-hand ground, boom, scored. All right, so there was some time left in the game. Now, this is where it was 38-31. So this is where I kind of going to be the lazy boy. I wasn't in the lazy boy last night. I was sitting on the couch. Commentary coach. All right, so they were trying to do the clock management by not throwing it to throw incomplete passes because the receivers were not getting open last night. A couple times they were open, but they were not getting open. So they ran the ball, and they did a horrible, horrible job. Okay, so BYU, they tried to kick in a long field goal, and the kicker missed it by about a yard. Plenty of leg, it just went to the left a little bit. So Arkansas had the chance to go down and score. BYU held them. Yeah, Arkansas got down within the 5-yard line, but then they had penalties of holding and other stuff. But BYU pressured that quarterback, and he was sacked. He fumbled a couple times. We got one of the fumbles. Then we also got an interception. But the last drive of the game, Arkansas was going down, and it looked like Arkansas was going to score, but they got penalties, and those penalties really hurt them. They helped BYU, but they really hurt Arkansas. And the last play of the game didn't really matter because they didn't make it anywhere, and BYU beat Arkansas in Arkansas 38-31. Now, that was a good game. It was, when it first started out to be 14-0 in the first freaking quarter, I was thinking, oh my gosh, it's going to be a dang long game. I might as well just go do something else. But I stuck with it. Okay, I'm not a fair weather fan. When they're doing good, I just don't support them when they're doing good. I support them when they're doing good, bad. Okay, and so I sat there and I was like, yes. When BYU came back, I was like, yes, finally, BYU. And then when they won Arkansas in Arkansas, an SEC team, or Southern Eastern Conference team, and when they beat them, that made a mark. All right, yeah, we've beat Tennessee before, and so, but beating Arkansas after they came to Provo and beat up on BYU, which Tennessee refused to do. They refused to come to Provo. But Arkansas did. They beat up on us last year. This year we went into Arkansas and we came back with the victory. I wouldn't say we really beat up on them because if you look at the stats, 281 total yards for BYU. And BYU is supposed to be an offensive powerhouse. The quarterback he needs to settle down and he needs to find those receivers. But Arkansas was covering the receivers extremely, extremely well. They did their homework and they knew how big of a weapon the receivers were. Now, Isaac Rex had a great catch and run, but he was ineligible because he's the tight end. He was on the line and there was another guy right next to him, so it made him ineligible to catch the ball. That brought back a 35-yard gain and a loss of down. So that's how the game actually ended for Arkansas. BYU was going in to sack him. He threw the ball up, but I think he was down on the ground. Number 78, he caught the ball and he ran it, in which number 78 is a lineman and he couldn't touch the ball. So that ended on an ineligible player catching the ball. But I think he was down when he threw the ball. But that's how the game ended. So yeah, looking at the stats, if you look how Arkansas came out, dominated BYU 14-0 in the first quarter, then BYU came back and it was a productive first half, but the second half was not that productive. So that was a good game. BYU came back to victory. They're 3-0 for the season. Now next week they start Big 12 play at Kansas. So yeah, they travel to Arkansas. They come back home. Now they're going to travel to Kansas. I feel sorry for the semi-truck drivers. They have a lot of road games this year, back to back too. So we'll come back next week. We'll do another recap of BYU football. But today, it's all about beating Arkansas. And that was a good game. All right, guys, that was it for the recap of Arkansas and BYU. BYU comes out on top, 38-31. That is 3-0. And until the next video, guys, I will see you later. Bye. Big 12 starts next week.